For most of us, knowledge is neutral. Knowledge is objective. We think in terms of efficiency. Even in the morning, Honorable Vice Chancellor was also talking about outcome-based education. We are trying to reduce everything in terms of outcomes. This is a very big tragedy in this country. There is a lot of reductionism. We are trying to reduce everything to certain outcomes. In other words, we play with industrial, managerial metaphors and try to, implement such philosophy, industrial philosophy and managerial philosophy into the system of education and pedagogy. Friends, this kind of understanding of knowledge is very narrow. Because of such knowledge which we have celebrating in our departments and schools of universities, we are not able to move forward. The failure of entire education system can be attributed to our misunderstanding about what knowledge is. Since we have borrowed most of the ideas about what is knowledge from the West, from the so-called modernist models, which we have been adopted in the Europe, making us killing our imagination itself. This is a kind of violence. This mostly we say this is an epistemological violence, which is happening in the universities, in the classrooms, the way we train students. If you look at any PhD thesis, you find all statistical procedures, lot of rhetoric of arguments, blah, blah, blah. And ultimately we say that this is the knowledge which the researcher has produced. This kind of culture of generating knowledge, evaluating knowledge, it has been damaging our universities and institutions of higher education. Friends, most importantly, this kind of understanding of knowledge, which we need to be very reflective and critical, it is alienating from our own self. I am going away from myself. This kind of alienation, this kind of gap which is existing in our institution, that creates a lot of disturbance within yourself. And it disturbs not only yourself, but your relations with others. Friends, the kind of distance which we have between students and institutions and students and teachers, you can attribute to this narrow understanding of knowledge. What I want to say here is, how to look at an alternative. I just want to look at my own culture, my own ethos, my own philosophy, my own country. Can it offer any kind of wisdom to me? Can it offer anything to me to think about what knowledge is? If you look at in India, most of the questions which philosophers and sages are asking, very pertinent questions, very philosophical questions. How should I live? It may be a very simple question, but it has a deep philosophical significance. Friends, the questions related to how should I live, what ought to do, and what is a good life. Some of these questions look very simple, but the semantic and the meaning spaces around the words are highly potential. Hence, knowledge, if you look at knowledge is, most of us, we still believe that knowledge is in the text. Knowledge is outside. The text is outside. But when you create a text within yourself, okay, your own text, it becomes knowledge. In other sense, how do you create your own text? You create a text when you experience something. What is happening in the Western way of knowledge, the system of knowledge which we practice today, we try to distinguish between ourselves and the object of investigation. When you are studying different culture, different people, different objects, different events, different relations, when you make a binary division between yourself and others, the other, that kind of binary division creates a false consciousness. This is a very dangerous way of understanding knowledge. Friends, when I look at some of the wonderful stories in Upanishad, I am not a scholar in Sanskrit, and I must confess sincerely that I am nothing before so many stalwarts here who are sitting here. When Yajnavalkya was in the court of Janaka, facing so many pandits like this, they were asking a number of questions to Yajnavalkya. He was answering each and every question. That's a great quote. Ancient India, debates and discussions were happening even in secretariats. It's a wonderful situations. We had that kind of intellectual legacy throughout, till maybe 14th, 15th centuries. And some girls were also very curious. They were all serious sages. Among them, there was one very serious-minded sage. You may heard about her, Gargi Vachaknari. She was asking a series of questions to Yajnavalkya. Maybe 3,000, 5,000 years back history, I don't know. It's very difficult to trace out when they were existing. But such kind of intellectual spaces were in India. And we need to draw lessons from that. And she was raising philosophical questions, cosmological questions. She was asking Yajnavalkya, what is that I should know? By knowing that, everything can be known. It was a very serious philosophical question. This question was raised long ago. So many bygone years. How? So many sages were trying to grappling how to answer this kind of question. Yajnavalkya started answering. Gargi was participating. I don't go into the entire discourse, what happened in the court. But ultimately, Yajnavalkya recognized the kind of enlightenment of that girl, Gargi, and appreciated her and saluted her. And that was the kind of very different kind of space of learning, where people used to respect each other, mutual respect, honesty, whatnot. So it was a competition. When even Yajnavalkya, see, because the question of knowledge, when it comes to the knowledge, people started exploring. Gargi started exploring what is the knowledge. What is that knowledge which I should know so that I can know everything about this cosmic creation? Such a wonderful question. And one more lady, his own wife, There are so many stories in Upanishad which you know. Maitreyi, when Yajnavalkya completed all his stages of life and he wanted to renunciate, he wanted to go to the final stage of his life, and he decided to divide his entire possession, whatever property he had, material property. He called two of his wives, Maitreyi and Katyayani, and he has asked them, I want to divide my property to both of you before I am going out of this kind of mundane life. And this is the thing which I want to do, I want to divide. Then Maitreyi was asking very serious questions. Okay, my dear husband, Yajnavalkya, you can give me a property, no issue. But how can you make me immortal? You see, is entire property, if I possess, can I become immortal? Is it possible? She was asking a series of questions related to jnana, that inquisitiveness to know. Material possessions are not important, but to know this. This knowing is a very sacred process, very spiritual process. That knowing and what is known, some of these issues which are related to epistemology and knowledge, very, very potential in ancient texts. Friends, what I want to say, the other thing is, the entire epistemology in India, we can call it as a relational kind of epistemology. Relational kind of epistemology. It is not an individual epistemology. If you look at the West also always looked at individual, how to make individual. The entire neoliberal market celebrates individualism. Individual becomes the authority to say what is true knowledge and what is not true knowledge. But when you come to the context of India, the knowledge is relational. You see, this relational knowledge is a very important aspect of India. If you look at how ancient Indians looked at the nature, ancient wisdom, Indian wisdom says that we have come to this world with certain responsibilities. See, you have not come to this world just like that. You have some responsibility to perform. You have certain obligations. You see, you have life because you have certain responsibilities and obligations which you need to fulfill. First thing is the nature itself. The nature itself which has given you birth, you have an obligation to respect this nature. You see, that is the dialogue. The dialogues which have series of dialogues which you find in Upanishadic literature, with man-woman's dialogue with the nature. Very wonderful conversations which you have, how they have addressed nature. Nature, most of us we still assume that nature is very static entity, but it's not. Sri also talks about the consciousness in matter, how the matter consciousness, how it gets transformed into super consciousness, the beautiful evolution theory which he talks about in his philosophical treatises. Friends, nature, that Kalidasa's beautiful character which you know, Shakuntala. Shakuntala, when he was going towards his beloved king, she was traveling to the kingdom. Beautiful stories, songs which Kalidasa composed. How she talks to plants, birds. How birds again talk to Shakuntala. They're very wonderful, kind of dialogues you find. You see, knowledge. Where is knowledge? knowledge is in such kind of experiential accounts. Knowledge is, when you look at the other as spiritual and divine, and what you have, what outside, in every object which you look at, the nature when you look at, it all connected. This is all cosmic consciousness. That kind of idea, which it gives. Friends, there are many things many stories, many dialogues which reveal what knowledge is in ancient Indian texts. When Satyakama, son of Jabali, when he went to Gautama's school for admission, Satyakama's guru Gautama told him that you find out your roots, to which clan you belong to, from which family you belong to. Please tell me so that I can admit you in my school. Then Satyakama goes to his mother and asks her mother, Jabali, Mother, who is my father? Who is my father? To which clan, which caste or which group does he belong to? Then Jabali says, my son, I don't know. Your father died when I was young. I got married when I was young, and you were born, and your father died. I don't know about his clan. I don't know about his caste. Nothing. And please tell Gautama, go back and tell Gautama that your name is Satyakama and you are son of Jabali. Then this little boy goes to Gautama's ashram and tells him that, Sir, I am Satyakama, son of Jabali. And he tells the truth. Then Gautama accepts him. See, why I am saying this is, when a guru like Gautama, a great philosopher and sage, when he accepted this little boy, he was not looking into his clan, his caste, nothing. He was just considering whether he is speaking truth or not. That is the criteria for admission. He got admission because of that. And when Gautama told him that I am giving you 100 cows, and you go to forest with these 100 cows and come back with 1,000 cows, then this boy, little boy, he went to forest with 100 cows. After many years, he comes back to Gautama's ashram, 1,000 cows. And his face was glowing that time. Friends, see, when this little boy Gautama was in the forest, the nature, the Agni, the Vayu, whatnot, the entire nature which is around him, he learned from that vibrations. And from that vibrations he got some kind of enlightenment. But when he comes back to Gautama, I have learned many things in my life, but still something is remained, that is Guru's enlightenment. I request my Gautama, please enlighten me. That is the final thing which I want to learn from you. Thank you very much. Knowledge like this goes on in the Upanishad. Wonderful stories. I request all of you, please read continuously, engage in the sacred texts, and bring them into the classroom. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for the insightful presentation. Now I request our chair to felicitate our two speakers. First, I request to felicitate Sri Sivasenani Noriji for his wonderful presentation. So we have two set of our conference proceedings, and along with the Bhagavad Gita. Please, sir, please. It is our honor to felicitate Sri Sivasenani Noriji. Now I request our chair to illustrate the next speaker. Professor V.Sudhakar. Request our chair to give the presentation along with the presidential remarks. Thank you very much, sir.
Sanjeev ji, when I was about to get onto the stage, was asking me to preside over and give my remarks in the end. At that time, I did not know the conspiracy. Now I understand. He probably wanted to give me the shortest of the time. And as a chair, I'll be compelled to keep the time. I think actually when Swami Vivekananda said that you cannot teach philosophy to people who are hungry, he was attending this session actually. You are hungry, we cannot teach any more philosophy to you. And the title itself is highly philosophical. We are talking about epistemology and people are again and again going into those epistemological questions. And the topic that is given to me, it is already written in the paper, is future directions of IKEs. In the morning too, people were saying that now for the last 2-3 years, IKEs is the buzzword, everyone is using the word IKEs. But I think we should all know that IKEs is not coming newly into this bus discussion. It was always there from the time the colonizers, the Britishers, wanted to give their education to us. My organization's name is Indica. We are going to organize a conference in March 2025. The title of the conference is Emergence, Evolution and Impact of IKS through the Resistance to Colonization. As a resistance to colonization, as a process of decolonization, IKS started way back when the university system started in this country. Actually, when some of you go to an Ayurvedic doctor, you are already going to an IKS place. When was this Ayurveda being practiced? Is it from the last 1 or 2 years only? From decades Ayurveda was already there and we were going to that IKS area. During COVID, people were talking about how in China, where people suspect the whole COVID started, they were not relying more on vaccination or Western medicine. They were using TMC, Chinese traditional medicine, CTM, in their hospitals. Even in India, even now, I meet many auto rickshaw people and laborers in the street. They keep telling me, "Saab, मैं कुछ भी नहीं किया, काढ़ा पीते गया, सब कुछ ठीक हो गया, ये vaccination सब बकवास है." All this is IKS. Let us not keep concentrating only on Upanishads, Vedas, Vedanta, and say that that alone is IKS. IKS is there in the newspaper announcements when you see that a certain farmer has been doing organic agriculture and using organic manure and organic pesticides. He was giving such a great amount of production. He was actually doing IKS in agriculture area. When you see tribal people, forest dwelling people selling medicine in the streets and people going to them more than going to the other allopathic doctors, we are able to see the IKS of Vanavasi traditions of this country. IKS of Vanavasi traditions, IKS of villages, IKS in all the folk communities. This word ethnomedicine was always used in cultural anthropology departments. They used to use the word indigenous knowledge systems to that. Indigenous knowledge systems included ethnomedicine of Africans, ethnomedicine of Amazon people, South American people, and in India, actually many people go to Unani doctors in near Charminar or in Bengalrao Nagar. There are 2 Unani hospitals. This Unani medicine is very ancient in Arabia. It was always there. All these knowledge systems, indigenous knowledge systems, always existed. What is going to be the future of the world is gradually what is mainstream knowledge system inside the universities is going to take a back seat, and all these indigenous knowledge systems are going to take the front seat. Why this is happening? You are able to see, particularly in the area of medicine, there is so much of disenchantment with the modern medical system. The side effects, the chemicals. Even those who go to beauty parlors are worried about the chemicals. That is why you have so much of advertisement of IKS beauty parlors. They don't call them IKS. They call them organic cosmetics, organic beauty treatment, herbal treatment, all that. But you see in any beauty parlor who is asking for chemicals, and the advertisement even for toothpaste nowadays is that no chemicals please. So all this is ringing alarming bells to the modern systems of knowledge. They are already knowing it. That is why they are so much worried and afraid of Ramdev Baba. That is why they made him apologize in the Supreme Court. They wanted to threaten, they wanted to terrorize, because they are already able to see that IKS is going to take over in every area. Every IKS system, IKS is not in the elite educational areas of the universities. IKS is there in the practical areas, professional education. We today call professional education, who is going to professional education? Are they going to professional education more, or to the philosophy department of a university, which is attracting more applications? Professional education. And that professional education was in the potter's house, in the carpenter's house, it was in the blacksmith's house. So all that we don't call education, we today call uneducated hai, was the actual educated. And that realization comes when you broaden the scope of IKS beyond metaphysics, beyond all these elite aspects of philosophy and all that. Actually, inside the university IKS meetings, I always talk in favor of humanities departments to lead. And I always talk about how philosophy department, which is the king of kings. Philosophy king of kings, IKE है. बताइए, हम हैदराबाद में हैं, हम देखने में बोलना चाहिए, मैं देखने में पूछ रहा हूँ, IKE है. हाँ, फिलॉसफी डिपार्टमेंट किंग ऑफ किंग्स है, उसमें 40 सीट्स है तो 6 एप्लीकेशंस मिलते हैं। फिजिक्स में 40 सीट्स है तो 6000 एप्लीकेशंस मिलते हैं। इंजीनियरिंग में हम 10 लाख सीट बनाते हैं, उसके ऊपर भी एप्लीकेशंस आते हैं, है ना। मगर फिलॉसफी इज द डिग्री दैट यू आर ऑल गेटिंग एज द हाईएस्ट डिग्री। योर हाईएस्ट डिग्री इज कॉल्ड डॉक्टर ऑफ फिलॉसफी। But when you actually go onto the university campus, philosophy department is the untouchable department. Untouchable street है, untouchable area है। जब फंडिंग आना है, ग्रांट्स आना है, तो बहुत कम ग्रांट्स मिलते हैं फिलॉसफी डिपार्टमेंट को, ह्यूमैनिटी स्कूल को। सारे ग्रांट्स साइंसेस में, टेक्नोलॉजी में चले जाते हैं। जब एग्जीक्यूटिव काउंसिल मीटिंग में बैठते हैं ना, जब फिलॉसफी आदमी उठता है, बैठो बैठो बोलते हैं, ग्रांट्स कोई नहीं देता है। इसलिए आई हैव बीन आस्किंग पीपल टू प्रायोरिटाइज ह्यूमैनिटी स्कूल्स। आई एम अ ह्यूमैनिटीज मैन, आई कम फ्रॉम द लिटरेचर डिपार्टमेंट, सो don't think that I am sidelining humanities, but I just want to remind all of you for the next 2 days that let us not be completely blinded and think that ये uneducated है ना, ये uneducated ही बीटेक में है, ये uneducated ही मेडिसिन में है। जो डॉक्टर, हम बनवासी डॉक्टर को रोड में देखते हैं ना, क्या बोलते हैं उसको, ये uneducated आदमी है। वो उसी अनएजुकेटेड पर्सन जब इंग्लिश अनएजुकेटेड मेडिसिन लेता है तो बहुत बड़ा बन जाता है। सो लेट अस रिकॉग्नाइज that all the so-called professional education was the majority education, is going to be the majority education, and it has to be focused upon. And all the traditional knowledge systems of Africa, South America, China, and all the countries of the world, Arabia, everywhere, all the indigenous knowledge systems are going to get revived. The present mainstream education is going to take the back seat. That is the future direction. But it is not possible for that education not to depend on the modern education, because it is the crutch. The modern education is the crutch. For example, Himalaya company, it sells LIV52 the maximum. But if you go to their website, they show their published articles on LIV52's efficacy, and all the methodology followed for LIV52's efficacy being proved are in the modern medical methodology. Clinical research methodology, double-blinded system, everything that is followed in the modern clinical research method they follow. And there is no PAMS course in this country where modern anatomy is not taught. All the indigenous knowledge systems now today are compelled to use the modern epistemology, modern methodology. That is why recently in Kerala they invited me to a workshop, a conference there. Do you know the title? We are talking of epistemology. Their title is The Epistemological Violence on Ayurveda. It is a violence. Yes. It is a violence because you are asking a system, an indigenous knowledge system, to follow the methods and thinking, the epistemological, metaphysical and ontological foundations of a totally alien system. That is the violence. Ayurveda is facing this violence, and it is actually trying to prove itself to be right through that alien system. So that violence, this conference, the title is saying that we have to overcome that violence, we have to counter that violence, we have to fight the violence of the Western methodology. We, all the students sitting here and the teachers sitting here should know that research methodology books were there for Ayurveda with the name called Tantra Yuktis. And you might be surprised to know that the Tantra Yuktis, books on Tantra Yuktis include chapters on how to write the dissertation also. Way back, centuries back, Tantra Yuktis books have given research methodology that way. But no one in the present university system is saying that there is Anvikshaki, the research methodology of India, there is Tantrayuktis, the research methodology from here. So, to overcome the violence, epistemological violence that all the indigenous knowledge systems are facing, we'll have to go to our own methodologies, and this methodology has to be taught. And it is very fortunate that a college of education has taken up this topic. We conducted a conference in Ujjaini on pedagogy, education as a IKE's area, as an IKE's area. Actually, we want to collaborate with this College of Education, Usman University College of Education. Murunalini Madam, even if you are retired, we are not going to leave you. We are going to make you work for our IKE's area of pedagogy, Indian pedagogy, and this conference, though it is focusing on many other areas, because it is coming from College of Education, our Nori Ji was also speaking about pedagogy, and our Sudhakar Garu also was speaking from the examples of Upanishads with a pedagogical perspective. So ultimately everything comes back to pedagogy only, though people do not look at B.Ed colleges or M.Ed colleges as the places to go. Only school teacher aspirants go there. Universities are not giving a higher place to B.Ed, M.Ed colleges. This conference, I think, will make colleges of education as the top places to go. B.Ed, M.Ed colleges as the top places to go, because the entire education system is facing a crisis.
Yes.
Prime ministers are going to ask the world, ask the entire society, ask the intellectuals, please give us a new alternative pedagogy, because the present pedagogy has completely failed, pathetically failed. So please give us. When they ask our colleges, our B.Ed and M.Ed colleges for this, already our present B.Ed M.Ed syllabus is completely rotten. We are also looking for something alternative. So IKS is going to give, IKS pedagogy is going to give that alternative. From the colleges of education, all the prime ministers will get a solace in future. That is the future direction. Thank you.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर, आपके अध्यक्षीय भाषण में आईकेएस फ्यूचर डायरेक्शन के लिए करके जो उद्बोधन जो मिला है, अवश्य ही इस कार्यक्रम की एक सफलता में एक मील का पत्थर होगा कि आपका जो निर्देश है उसका अनुपालन करते हुए इस कार्यक्रम को आगे बढ़ाते रहेंगे। और इस कार्यक्रम में आप अध्यक्षता वहन करने के लिए हम अत्यंत आभार प्रकट करते हैं। और इसी के साथ इस कार्यक्रम में दो वक्ताओं के रूप में डॉक्टर श्रीविशनानी नूरी जी ने जो पेपर प्रेजेंट किया उनके लिए भी हम आभार प्रकट करते हैं, और उसी प्रकार प्रोफेसर V.Sudhakar जी का भी हम आभार प्रकट करते हैं उनका ज्ञान मूल्य उनके योगदान के लिए। तो इस सत्र का हम यहाँ पर समापन करते हैं। तो नेक्स्ट सेशन 3 बजे। सो वी कंक्लूडिंग दिस सेशन हियर एंड वी आर टेकिंग ब्रेक फॉर लंच। ऑल आर रिक्वेस्टेड टू असेंबल बाय 3 o'clock for our next session. Thank you very much, madam.
Lunch, अरे announce it, Madhu. Announce lunch.
Yes.
I kindly request the delegates, please have the lunch at EMRC.
Opposite.
Opposite to this, please,